Hi there, this is Oliver from Sidebar, and in this video we are going to have a look at the basic styling settings. So first of all, let's open up the settings and we navigate to the screens and styles section at the very top. The first thing I want to mention here is the screen selection part, because this defines on which screens Sidebar is visible on. There are three options. The first one is Sidebar is visible on all screens. You can only show it on the primary screen, or you can manually select different screens where you want Sidebar to be visible on. More importantly, or almost more importantly, is the second option here, because this defines if the same style should be used across all screens. By default, this is enabled, and this means that if you have multiple screens, applying styling settings will automatically apply them to all screens. So if you want to use different layouts, different styling settings for sidebars placed on different screens, then you can disable the setting and manually select the screen you want to adjust the styling settings for. And so if you have multiple screens, they would appear here, and then you first click on the screen and then have the possibility to change the styling settings for this particular screen. For this demo, we are going to enable this because I only have one screen available right now. All right, let's have a look at the basic styling settings. So for all new users, I would recommend to have a look at the themes here. Those are basically predefined styling settings that you can apply with a single click here. The first one is the currently active one, and the default one, the standard macOS style. This will apply a darker background to Sidebar, as you can see here as well, and display every single application with just an icon. It will automatically enable multimedia controls, and other than this, the macOS bright style is basically the same, but has a brighter background color here. Then we have the Windows style. In the Windows style, you can see that applications with more than one window, so in this instance, it's Finder, will be displayed along with the application window title, and everything else will be displayed with just an icon. By default, the trash can and the volume controls and the daytime section will be enabled. Same goes for the all titles style. This will also display applications with just a single window, for instance, the App Store, along with the title, and enable all other controls by default as well. And fairly new one is the vertical list mode. This will place Sidebar automatically on the screen side, on the left side. You can also, of course, move it to the right side later on, and change the layout from Sidebar from an icon-based layout to a text-based list format. So basically, put the window title right next to the icon, and to actually achieve a list-like look, and place additional controls at the very bottom. All right, so let's have a look. One of the most important settings is the position and size category here, because this is where you want to put your sidebar on. So basically, on which screen side you want pin sidebar to. Right now it's at the bottom, but we can of course place it on the left side, on the right side, or again on the bottom. If you choose either the left or right side, you can see there's a new option available, which will display this as a vertical list, and display it just like we saw in the themes earlier. By enabling this setting, you can see the switches to a list-like layout. And then we are going to switch it back to the bottom. The next important one is the size option here, because this determines how big Sidebar is, like the overall app area. By default, it uses the dynamic size. So the app area here, the background area, automatically adjusts based on the number of icons and on the icon size that you're using for Sidebar. If you disable this, you can manually set the size of sidebar. This is important if you want to achieve something similar to Windows, for instance, where the taskbar will always use the whole width of the screen. You can also like decrease this to 80% or something, so that you have some free area on the left and the right side. And the alignment here will then define on which position like the whole app area is. Leading means on the left side, center is in the screen center, and trailing is on the right side. For now, we are going to enable the dynamic size again and put it in the center again. Next, one important setting is the auto hiding. If you want to automatically hide sidebar and only activate it when you move your cursor to the screen side where sidebar is pinned to, then this is the right setting for you. If you enable this setting, you can see sidebar will remain visible for as long as the settings are open. This is just to have it more convenient for you to adjust styling settings, for instance, because as otherwise sidebar would always automatically vanish here right now. But as soon as I close like the settings window, sidebar will automatically disappear and only reappear if I move my cursor to the bottom and then again disappear. All right. So let's open up the settings again and disable auto hiding for now. One of the most important categories in the styling settings is the applications category here, because this defines how applications are displayed in sidebar. By default, and depending on the theme you select at the beginning, this uses the macOS style right now. So it's just a single icon for every single application window. All right. We can switch that to ungrouped label, to which will automatically show each individual application window. So to showcase this, we are going to open a new Finder window and place it here. You can see now that we have two Finder windows in here, one calculator and one Safari window. And the hybrid style is a mixture of both, because this will display each window individually if there's more than one window. So for Finder, for instance, we have now two windows, so that we have two separate entries here in sidebar. And for everything else with just one window, we just see the icon. This is mainly to save space in sidebar. For now, I'm going to switch to the macOS style again. The running indicator is the indicator beneath the icon here that indicates that this application is currently running. There are multiple options to choose from a single circle to a line to an endemic one, which highlights the currently active Finder app here. So this is underlined. We also have the cycle with window count, which will display multiple circles depending on the number of application windows for this app. For Finder, this is 2 because we have 2 windows, and for everything else, this is 1. We have the highlight style, which will put a shade around the application icon and set the opacity of the shape depending on the active app. Again, Finder is the active one, so this is a little bit brighter here. And there's also like the highlight with window count option. If you enable that, you can see the number of application windows right next to the app icon, if there's more than one. All right, for now we're going to stick with the dynamic option here. Another important category is the icons category, because in here you can enable the sidebar icon, this one, and this will add this little sidebar icon here. You can of course change the color with some built-in colors, or you can also customize the whole icon using this icon here. If you don't want to have it stick to the left side of sidebar, you can enable the unlock option, which will place it in line with other applications, so you can actually freely move it around. But for now, we're going to keep it here. using the sidebar icon, this opens up the start menu where you can access all your applications on your Mac. Also, one important setting, or one of the most important settings actually, is the size here, because this is the icon size. If you want to change the actual size of the icons, you have to adjust this here. So if I increase this, you can see the icons are getting a lot bigger, and the height of sidebar is automatically applied and adjusted so that the icons fit in sidebar. And we also have the dynamic icon size option here. The dynamic icon size, if enabled, will switch the icon size value from a single value to a range value. So you can see by default this is between 28 and 32 pixels, and you can adjust both of those values. So if you, for instance, have so many apps open that there's not enough room for all of them on sidebar, it will then automatically decrease the icon size to a lower threshold of 28 pixels in this case, so that you can fit more icons onto sidebar. All right. So now we're going to have a look at the multimedia category here, because this is for the inline multimedia controls. To show you what this is doing, I'm going to enable some music now, or for instance on YouTube Music, and we're going to play just a random song here. And as you can see, sidebar automatically detects which song is playing and enables the controls. So you can, for instance, pause the song or play and resume. You can also see the cover image here. If you want to disable this feature, this is enabled by default. Disable it here and it will just show the icon again. There are different layouts available for the multimedia controls. Right now we are using the full controls, which will display the title and the buttons here. You can also go, for instance, for the compact one, which will just display the pause and play button, or only the controls. Or we also have a large mode here available, which will display the title along with the artist beneath each other and the controls next to it. All right. Then we're going back. The next important one is the volume controls, which allows you to adjust the system volume overall. So if you enable the volume controls, this will be added here. And on hover, you can see and adjust the volume overall of the system just by like increasing or decreasing this here. You can also just hover the icon and use a scroll gesture to increase or decrease the value here. The same thing is for the date and time section. So if you enable the date and time here, you will see date and time. And if you hover this section, you automatically get a calendar overview. There are multiple formatting options for the date time sections. You can, for instance, also show the seconds, or use another format, or like adjust the font sizes for the rows, or even apply a completely custom format where you have like complete freedom what you want to show in which of the two rows that are available. Right, last but not least, we have the trash icon in here. So if you enable this option, you will see the trash icon in sidebar directly, that you can access your trash or empty your trash from right within sidebar.